Couch Co-op. Couch Co-op. Couch Co-op.
Hello, Couch Co-opers, Couch Potatoes, and Couch Codependents. This is the Couch Co-op Show. I'm Ian, and I got Jarrod and Quentin
Hello.
with me tonight.
Hey.
Woo! Please do me a favor and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Couch Co-op Show. Is all one word, no hyphen. How are we doing tonight, gentlemen?
Doing good.
Good.
Yeah, it's been a busy day, but it's a good night so far.
Very, very lazy day for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of it was a slow work day. And then came home and jumped right on Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Oh my god, I'm addicted to this stupid game. Anyway, I mean, it's not a stupid game. I think it's a great game, but
we'll get to that.
I don't know why all of a sudden I'm just like, I mean, even just now when I say couch potatoes, I just think about all the potatoes I've been eating
Oh,
in the game. Anyway,
I still haven't found any.
no, you grow them.
Yeah, I know. You have to find a potato to start your garden, though.
Well, this is true, but yeah. So I've just been obsessed with that. So yeah, we could talk about that now. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. What's the newest game we've played today? This week? I don't know.
This week?
Who's got the newest game?
The most topical game?
The most topical game.
Toss up between Metal Gear Survive and whenever Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 came out.
For me, it's Final Fantasy 15 and The Witcher 2.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. I loved Final Fantasy 15.
Let's see. I have, obviously, I have Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I have Gran Turismo Sport and Metal Gear Survive. I will say that Halo Infinite is preloaded on my machine.
Awesome.
I will be talking about that next week.
Okay. As well as some of the Game Awards, maybe.
Oh, yeah, the Game Awards are this week,
Yeah,
too.
yeah, that's on Thursday.
Talk about how
The 9th.
disappointing the awards are and maybe how exciting some of the announcements are.
Yeah. See, Returnal not winning anything just because.
Yeah. It'll probably, yeah.
Yeah, art direction or something like that. Who knows? Sound design. I could see him taking that away.
Oof. Man, the Game Awards are so confusing to me.
Yeah.
Well,
It feels progressively worse and worse every year.
I mean, it's just.
I mean,
I
it's
don't
just.
like the nominations now anymore.
I don't even
It's
think
supposedly,
the awards are not that important. It's just a giant commercial.
that is
but
true.
even then, there's almost 200 different media outlets that vote for all these contenders.
Mhm.
So it's the media, which is sour on most games because they have to play too many of them. So it's hard to judge that.
But then even some of the cool, like last year, I think even the musical, like best music, was just off on the side, like best music. Like they didn't even have
Wait,
that
really?
person come out or something. It was just announced and then they moved on. Where in years past they would have a big performance.
And there's a 10-second clip. I guess this year they're having the Imagine Dragons back, and they're going to do some surprise performance with something. I liked their original performance, doing the Koji Kondo performance with Koji Kondo. But we'll see.
I mean, it's a lot of Carrie Ann Moss and Keanu are going to be there representing the Matrix and probably that Unreal. Because that Unreal, I installed that too, that Unreal Engine 5 Matrix thing.
I have it installed.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll be able to use that on Thursday. It seems like we'll learn more.
Yeah, you just get a countdown right now. Yeah, just a bunch of who else? There was some other famous people that were just, I don't know, just a bunch of famous people.
Yeah,
The games get backseated on that thing now.
Wasn't Dwayne Johnson coming in? Something like that.
Probably.
He's everywhere. Yeah.
He's in Fortnite right now.
Yeah. Yes. It's
Isn't like I
wild.
mean I think the Matrix. I think the reason they're gonna be there is because the Matrix is coming to Fortnite.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Oh gosh.
I think
That's
that's
a
So many
guess.
things are in Fortnite now.
that's the news. I
Yeah.
think. If
Yeah.
that isn't, I can't remember if it's gonna be out. It's probably gonna be out that night. Like they'll come out and say it's out now.
Yeah.
The
Well,
big thing is
speaking
that
of Unreal Engine 5, that's Fortnite's the first game to run on it. So that's
Oh, really?
yeah, the first game to
Wow.
come out as an Unreal Engine 5 game.
Oh
Well,
So
man.
it's
I don't
epic.
know when the
That's why.
console versions are going to transfer to that, but I think the PC version's already in Unreal Engine 5.
I
Interesting.
was hoping that they'd have like another game where it's just like some unknown developer releases the first game. I remember that happening for Unreal Engine 3 when that first happened.
Yeah.
Epic is they got. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah, they've got all kinds of devs to work on anything. I mean, even harmonics to do music stuff for Fortnite.
Oh,
I mean,
gosh.
it's
So
all the
weird.
all the battle. I mean, Fortnite has its new map. Call of Duty has its new map. This new Warzone map. I mean, it's
Seems like
craziness.
Battlefield's trying to go that way now.
Oh, yeah, that's the big news. But that
Oh, is it?
no, the big news that that whole studio Dice got shook up and Vince Zappel. What is his last name?
Zapala.
Zappala. Yeah, now he's overseeing them. We'll see how that goes. But
Yeah.
Probably.
I think Battlefield is. I don't know if they can course correct. I feel like it's been like what 2 games in a row they're just that's I don't know.
They've derailed pretty hardcore, so
Yeah. It's mainly because this newest game, they changed the base of the gameplay. Like, they changed it into a hero shooter.
I feel
oh,
like
interesting.
I feel
No
like
Yeah,
thanks.
no. So all the classes that were in the original Battlefield games are now characters. So if you like the way a specific class work, you need to have a character that has the same gadget and the same stuff.
Oh,
So, like,
interesting.
if you liked the wingsuit, you can only play the character that has the wingsuit.
oh.
Oh, wild. Okay.
So you can't sort of play how you want. You have to play to what the character wants.
Yeah, you can't really
And
mix it
people
up.
aren't liking that. Yeah.
I was never big into Battlefield, so
We got into one for a little while. We played,
Battlefield
several
1.
dozens of
I did.
multiplayer matches, but then we fell off pretty hardcore and moved
Yeah,
on.
I think I got all the multiplayer trophies, and then I was not interested in the single player campaign, which is weird. I couldn't get into it.
Yeah,
One
they've never been top tier.
of my finest moments was killing Jarrod. Jarrod
On the
loaded into-
horse, you were on the horse.
I was on the horse, and Jarrod was trying to play with me, but he got logged in on the other team, and I said, "That's Jarrod." I killed him.
Yeah, pretty quickly. Yeah,
Oh,
it was pretty funny.
Anyway, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it's not. It's still as a whole, it's not really one of my favorite kind of. I don't get it as much. I feel it's too. It's harder to pick up and play. Like
Yeah.
Too
obviously,
many snipers. That's the game that has the biggest problem with snipers. So playing multiplayer
Yeah.
on Battlefield is really challenging because of that. You see the glimmer. You can kind of see where snipers are. You see the glimmer like as you're being shot.
This new game has like maps that are made for 128 players too, so it's like huge.
Yeah, what percentage of those people are snipers?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
try
don't know what
walking down the
sniper
valley.
pictures are.
and then they got
Valley
that
of
whole
Death.
portal thing where you can mix and match what different time periods and shit, make your own kind of.
That seems cool.
That seems like a cool idea, but it just doesn't sound like they implemented it well. So who knows? We'll see. I would like most people, most of the podcasts I listen to, I prefer a new Titanfall over a Battlefield.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. You
But-
played a ton of that multiplayer. I played a bit, not as much as you, but
I played so much of that.
that was a good one. Yeah.
Titanfall 2 was such a good game.
It was awesome.
Mhm.
I miss it.
Indeed, it is so good. Anyway, let's talk about what we've been playing. Let's start with Metal Gear Survive so we can get it out of the way. I want to know what Jarrod thinks of the game. I got you somehow to buy it for $5.99. I think you can still buy it for $5.99. Is it worth $5.99, Jarrod?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Quick response there. Yeah, I mean it feels like Metal Gear Solid 5 at heart, but it's definitely not Metal Gear Solid 5. It's its own thing. It's like a survival game because it's mostly single player. I haven't played any of the multiplayer stuff yet, but you can do the whole campaign thing single player. You just have to really work at finding water and dealing with any damage that does to your stomach if you don't have clean water and stuff like that, which I finally got. It's like chapter 7 or something like that, as I was reading.
Oh, I don't.
So I can finally get clean water, so that gets rid of a lot of the challenge because you also have to hunt and get meat and food and stuff like that to eat. You know, your your hunger and thirst go down very quick. You have to eat and drink pretty often, maybe once a mission. It just kind of gets annoying at that point, but I mean, the game's good. I'm really actually enjoying it. Like even the dust area is really cool because that monster's trudging around and creating the dust somehow. And I met that monster finally, and he's pretty neat looking. I don't know, all the weird legs and arms and stuff on it are kind of bizarre.
It's crazy long too, man. You can sit there in a house in like a little shed, and it'll just like keep going forever.
Yeah, I was walking around its feet when I walked by, and just kind of checking it out.
It's really weird.
Yeah, but I don't know. The story is presented pretty much with the robot talking, and it's Metal Gear style where it's just a dead screen with
It's like codex
faces
but
that
not.
pop up. Yeah, it's a different type of codex.
There are some cutscenes that happen that are kind of weird.
Yeah,
kind of, but then a lot of the dialogue is just like a codec thing.
it goes with a lot of the stuff that they introduced in Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 5, where you can use the balloons to grab people from the dust area. Stuff falls out of the portals that you could eventually unlock in Metal Gear Solid 5 to take the shipping containers and stuff like that. And so, I mean, it has a lot of that weird, like high-tech stuff that Metal Gear Solid 5 had as you played it longer. So I like that part of it.
I also like the fact that in most open world games you like go to a checkpoint. Like in Assassin's Creed, you'll go to like a bird perch and then it unlocks the fast travel.
Yeah,
I like the fact that in this game, when I don't know, you've probably gotten to one of them, Jarrod, but you actually go to these things and it creates a warp. The thing's an actual warp tunnel back to your base, or it creates a whole warp network. So it's not like you magically, so like in Assassin's Creed, you magically teleport to your next location. This is actually lore in the game that it's like, while it's a kind of a checkpoint fast travel system, it's actually a fast traveling system. So
and the guy that you're with, his mind is pretty blown that you can teleport matter through these things. Like, wow, that's amazing. And eventually you find a wormhole generator, or wormhole drill, something like that.
Yeah, wormhole drill.
And so that's how far I made it. I got that and defended it the first time.
It's very Japanese, like Metal Gear Solid. It has a lot of characters are very kind of what? Or
yeah,
I have quite a few characters at this point, but a cool story I will tell that I thought was really funny. I had a side mission where in Metal Gear Solid 5 they have those little like mini walkers you can sit in and walk around in and shoot.
Those are cool.
So I came across one and you shoot a bunch of the enemies, and anyway, I kept going and I came to the large animal hunt, and there was a bear there, but I had run out of bullets and my machine was almost dead. So I was kicking the zombie type creatures and killing them. So as I got to the bear, I said, "Oh fuck it, I'll just kick the bear." And so I kicked the bear, and then he just turns around and nails me, and I launch out of the machine because it dies. So it falls over, and the bear's sitting by the machine, and then the walker blows up and kills the bear. It was fucking perfect. I was like, "Oh, yes,
that's fun." Yeah, I like when stuff like that happens.
But no, I just like mobbing, like investigating. It's a pretty big map, so I'm.
Yeah, I haven't unlocked much. I only have the nurse, that first character you kind of get. But Ian and I finally had a chance to play online together last night.
Yeah,
but I logged in and the servers were shutting down for maintenance in like 6 minutes. So I'm like, oh, right, whatever.
Yeah, at least they're like still taking care of it.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know how popular it is because Metal Gear fans are very plentiful. There's a lot of Metal Gear fans, and this is a game they could just keep playing and doing.
But I don't know if they like it. I feel like this game is
I don't know,
not loved, but I don't see
know.
why.
That was media and people that just really played like the story for Metal Gear. But Metal Gear 5 had like a big online mode where you could go to other people's bases and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You'd have to figure out their defenses and stuff like that. And
I think this
get
game
to
is.
their nuclear reactor or whatever.
This is the second week in a row we've been talking about it, of course. But it's just, I think it's really well made. It doesn't really have any hitches, I don't think. It's, it's the same engine. It looks the same as Metal Gear Solid 5. I think it's kind of fun that they make it a survival game out of it.
I don't think it looks as good. Maybe I'll have to reinstall Metal Gear Solid 5, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot more jankiness to the engine. I don't think they utilized it as well as they could have.
I could see that. I could see it's not as good, but I mean, it looks pretty good. I don't think it doesn't look. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's not like the greatest thing since sliced bread or anything like that. It's a solid like 7, I'd say. I think at this point it's a good 7.
I think it looks
it's
better
good
than
game.
Anyway.
I don't know about that, but 7's good. I'd play a 7. I play 7s all the time.
I like the whole building my base and arranging everything so it doesn't look crappy and flows nicely, and I don't know. I dig it. I'm into it, and I'll keep playing it for a while and see how far I get.
Yeah, awesome.
So, and it's still $5.99 on that end of the year sale.
Until the end of the year, yeah.
So, so yeah. What goofy Japanese game are you playing, Quentin?
What am I playing? I'm playing a goofy Polish game called The Witcher 2.
Oh, that's The Witcher 2. Oh, did you give up on Witcher 1?
No, okay, so I launched Witcher 1, got through the tutorial, and right at the end it makes you meditate. And meditating in Witcher 1 works differently from every other game in the series, where you need to either be at a fireplace or you sleep during dialogue. I could not click the meditation button in this dialogue. And it's an NPC that blocks a hallway, and if you try to walk away from him or out of the corridor, it brings you back to the dialogue, and he goes, "You need to sleep." And I can't sleep. Every time I click that little icon, I can't meditate. So it's just like, I'll just tinker with this later. And I launched The Witcher 2 to see if that could run. And now I'm like 3 hours into The Witcher 2, and that game is fantastic. That game is fun. I like that game so far.
It's all right.
I think it's good. I'm really enjoying it so far. I like how your save can carry through, and I hope I can actually get The Witcher 1 working to have that go over.
Oh, right.
But I like how dialogue is very interesting, because Geralt as a character I find really, really fascinating, because he's a guy who doesn't want to make choices, who's forced to make choices.
Right.
And I like a story based around a character like that.
Cool.
Yeah, I like Geralt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the combat's not bad either. I mean, it's serviceable, but I think with the 5 spells that you get a bunch of breathing room to do what you want and toy around with every encounter.
I found it
that was my
difficult.
least favorite part about The Witcher 3 was the battle system.
Oh, really?
I don't know how close The Witcher 2 is to The Witcher 3 in terms of combat.
It's a little different. I found Witcher 2 a lot more difficult than just it's normal. Maybe I was just playing it wrong. I don't know. I just felt like I was always getting my ass handed. I don't know.
I've had that happen once or twice. I realized that I needed a silver sword for something, and I didn't even realize silver swords were a thing. But I completely destroyed a boss with it that needed the silver sword. I just hit it with a steel sword a bunch of times.
Is that the one? Isn't that first boss the
tentacle?
The tentacle one?
Yeah,
man, I died a shit ton there. I just fucking ugh.
I died once or twice, and then I got the hang of things down. I dodged, put down the trap, let it hit me, hit it a bunch. I did 0 damage. I did 2 or 3 damage every slice because I didn't have a silver sword. But I eventually beat the boss just out of sheer will. And then I got a silver sword.
But you know what I think I was trying to explain it last time, but do you know what I kind of mean? It's not exactly open world. You kind of go into little areas. It's like a little open area, and then you kind of walk. You find a path that goes to the next open area, kind of.
It's semi-open world because the chapter that you're in is the part of the world you're in, right?
Dragon Age 2.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You're stuck in this place, and it's this is what you're doing for now, and then you're going to go to the next part of the world in the next part. So it's semi-open world, where everywhere you go is a place to explore, and there are things to do and people to talk to, quests to find. But you're not exploring the entire world because you don't need to, because your focus is right here.
That makes me think of the map of Dragon Age 2, because it looks all open, nice 3D looking thing, but then you look at the map, it's just tiny little narrow paths that you can follow.
Right. That's kind of... Well, didn't BioWare do something with that game?
I don't know.
Witcher 2?
Yeah, or something like that?
No.
I don't know. I don't remember.
No, you may be thinking the first game, which used a BioWare engine for its gameplay and stuff like that, like the same engine that they used for Dragon Age and all that. I think.
Okay.
Interesting.
It's a typed-on isometric game if you don't play over the shoulder, The Witcher 1. So it's very similar to like Dragon Age Origins, where it's like over your head isometric, unless you want it to be over your shoulder and you can control it like that.
I'm gonna look.
I thought it was the same gameplay engine.
It might be. I just thought there was...
Because I remember seeing when I first opened the game for the first time, there's all those like trademarks, and there was that BioWare something engine.
Maybe that's what it is. I just remember there being...
That was for the first game.
Right. Okay.
Okay, there is a
connection. The second
connection.
game uses Red Tech, which is used for Witcher 3, and I think Cyberpunk.
Okay, the engine they just keep developing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. But there's a wealth of modding tools if you get bored like I did, and then you just go around and destroy everything. Anyway, if you get bored.
I'm not gonna get bored because the other game I played this week was Final Fantasy 15, and that game is filled with things to do as well.
Yeah, it is.
To the point where I got distracted for about 10 hours straight. Not 10 hours straight, but 10 hours over this week of nothing but fishing.
Oh yeah, I did so much of the fishing in it. I beat that quest.
It's so fun. I just caught the something of the... It's like that big fish in Golden Key. It's like the last quest out of the fishing quests. It's like this big
I don't
giant...
remember what it's called. It's been so long.
It was like the killer of something. And it's like this giant fish that the entire party had to hoist up out of the water.
Yeah, it's fun when you catch those.
It's so fun. I didn't realize how much I'd like fishing mini games until like kind of this week. They're so fun.
Yeah,
and it's like it's therapeutic. You can just like reach out your line, you just wait, pull in a fish, and you just focus on what the fish is doing. And that's how you get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you play any actual fishing games?
I've played like old fishing games like Sega Bass Pro Rally Fishing, but there's
Super Black Bass here.
Yeah.
Or Black Bass on the NES.
Not like that free-to-play one. What is it, Planet Fish or something? What is that one?
I didn't. I don't know if something like that would appeal.
That it's very hardcore and kind of realistic. So that's not really what I'm going for in a fishing game. I don't want it like a fishing game. I just want fishing mini games that are entertaining.
Yeah,
it's a big difference there. Yeah,
I hate fishing mini games.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, like Final Fantasy 15 goes as deep as like, you need this certain lure to catch this certain fish or this certain type of fish. You know, I mean, there's a little bit of video game in there just for the fishing.
Is it just a quick time event?
No, it's a whole on like.
It's an endurance test in some of them.
Yeah. It's okay. So fish. So it shakes your controller when you're not supposed to reel in. They go left and right, and the camera follows the fish. Every pole and reel has an attack and defense stat. Mm-hmm. And you have different lines which have health pools and lures, which give you certain fish.
Yeah, getting the better line leader is very helpful because you have more hit points.
Oh boy!
Yeah, it's so fun.
Makes me realize
10 hours, huh?
I want a full-on fishing RPG.
So
I want a fishing RPG.
If you decide you like Final Fantasy 15, just go look up the episode Arden music.
Oh yeah, no, I've
I love that. It's so fun when you're playing that. It's like, I don't know,
Condition to
something
Hate
about
is
it.
like a really good song.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Cool. All right.
I've played all the DLC. Actually, in fact, now that I've actually finished this fishing minigame, I realize I've played every single thing related to Final Fantasy 15 in terms of all its DLC, all the movies, all the anime.
Yeah.
Except for VR.
Me too.
Like,
I haven't played that one, the VR one.
That's
I
the
want it, but
VR.
it won't go any cheaper than $15. I'm like, I don't really want to buy VR fishing for $15.
I don't have a PSVR. Am I gonna have to get a PSVR to like finally say I've played every single
Yes.
piece of Final Fantasy
Pretty much.
15 yet?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
so.
Otherwise, stuff it.
I wouldn't mind playing that. That trailer looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks fun. I don't know. One of these days I'll break. I will. I want it. I do want it. I still look at it in my wish list. I'm like, $14.99 still.
Isn't it cheaper right now, or is it on sale for $14.99?
It's on sale for $14.99.
Oh,
Jesus
it's not
Christ!
even.
It's not
oh,
even
wow.
14. How is it that big of a game? Holy moly!
I
I
don't
would
know.
assume it's like maybe like a 3 or 4 hour long like main story in terms of cutscenes,
Yeah.
dialogue, and things to do. But
You can imagine nobody on any podcast ever talked about it. So
It must be great.
we could be the first.
I know it got really low ratings because people thought it was overly simplistic.
Oh, really?
Huh.
Like as in like it might have just been a port of the mini game just with like VR.
VR, probably. You
Yeah,
can
I
see
mean,
that.
that's fine. It's still fun.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I keep thinking of reinstalling Final Fantasy 15 because I haven't played it on my PS5. I don't know
It's a
how
good game.
much faster the loading time and stuff like that is, but I don't know. There was a little bit of jankiness here and there, and I bet some of that's gone.
I heard the loading was cut by like a fourth or like a half.
Oh wow,
So instead of
no,
waiting,
Jarrod, isn't it free for us?
it is.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but isn't the fishing part free?
No, the VR one, no,
Oh, that wasn't a part of that whole
no.
Royal Edition?
Uh-uh.
Oh,
I
thought
wish that'd be awesome.
For some
No.
reason, I thought it was.
Yeah,
No, Royal
that-
was extra content added to the end of the game.
I know Jarrod
Yeah.
gives away because he bought it digitally. He had originally bought it on disc. Then he gave away his disc version and gave it to us digitally because he wanted the whole edition. And then, like, what, 2 months later, they gave it. Or how long? When did they give it the Royal Edition away? Or is that part of the PS5 collection?
I think that's the PS5 collection. Yeah.
Anyway, so I have it.
Well,
For some
the
reason, I
Royal
have.
Edition was like added later. It was like they
Right.
wanted to fix the story, and that's why they released.
And it has all the DLC.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like,
When I bought it, it went on sale for next to nothing. Yeah, it was super cheap.
This is the day one Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah,
You
I
mean
had
this version?
I had that. Yeah,
Yep, that's the one I got with the.
that's the one.
I don't know why I have it, though, because I don't really need it.
Yeah, nobody does because we
Got the
all
one with the
kind of have
weapon
it.
code on the inside for buying a day one.
Yeah, I got the weapon. Yeah, I don't know if the card's still in there, but I might have tossed it. Whenever I use a
No.
code, I usually toss the card.
Yeah, all the signatures. Man,
Oh,
Final
yeah.
Fantasy 15 is such a crazy game to realize that it actually came out after 10 years of development.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I remember seeing the old trailers for that.
All right, Jarrod. What else? What just Pac-Mans?
Yeah, I played some Pac-Man Championship Edition 2, which is it's pretty similar to Championship Edition 1, just it seems a little harder to do. I mean, I've had to put pretty much all of them on normal and just kind of buzz through it so far. But it implemented new like boss fights, like at the end of you can after you get a certain amount of points, you can do the boss, or just go through all the levels and you'll have enough points anyways. But it just has you get through these levels real quick. Sometimes it only gives you 10 seconds to grab enough power pills and grab the apple to go to the next phase. And the boss is behind the map and he like headbutts the map and it pops into the next one. It's pretty cool. Visually pretty wild like the CE1. But I'm having fun with it. My daughter's tried it, but CE is not a really good starting point for Pac-Man because it's really, really fast. In the first one, you started kind of slow, and as you progressed, you got faster. And this one is just fast. So you really got to be ready for it. If you really like Pac-Man, it's a solid treat to play it. It is.
I remember playing the first one, and that was fun.
Yeah. The first one I think is a little more fun because it's not. It lets you just kind of take it in, and it's not just always fast. Which it's that's I think I remember the first one actually had different levels of speed. Like if you did well, you got faster and faster to help your combo. In this one, it's just you go.
crazy fast.
but it has a break where you can stop, and it also has like a bomb, a limited amount of them, where it bombs you to the beginning, the starting point. Like if you're at the end of the level and you're in danger and your time's almost out or whatever, you can use it and you hit the bomb and go grab the fruit to end the level. So I mean, it has a couple of new things, pretty neat, and it's on. I don't know if it's on sale. I've owned it for a long time. I just decided, something else, because I'm trying to find all these games I can play when my kids are around. And Pac-Man, you know, you can't fail with that. They're not gonna be, you know, bleeding everywhere. So, you know, you can play Pac-Man. I also have Pac-Man 256 installed. I haven't put that one back in, but I like that one a lot.
What about isn't it the Pac-Man, the Switch one? The Battle Royale one? Isn't there that?
I don't know. Did that ever come out
Isn't that
on
out?
consoles?
No, on consoles. Isn't it on your Switch, though?
Uh,
Isn't there?
I don't
Isn't that what I'm
know.
talking about? Is that what I'm
I
talking
thought
about?
that was an
Five,
arcade thing.
yeah, arcade had like 5-player Pac-Man. I thought it was supposed to come to a console once upon a time, but I don't know if it ever did. Nobody talked about it.
What
But
happened?
that would be great.
What happened to Rayman?
I'm still playing it.
Oh, okay.
I still need to do my dailies. Yesterday, it's on Mondays, by the way.
Oh,
Just
Mondays.
in case you need to know, Mondays are when the weeklies restart. So Monday morning, I wake up early to get my daughter up for school. So I play Rayman and the dailies before I wake her up. And
Ugh.
then I'm done with the weeklies for the week
Oh, I
on
see.
the first day.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Just curious.
So I'm
Update.
on the
Weekly grind.
final stretch. I think I have like 900 more points to get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
good.
so it's climbing up there. It's getting there, but it's a pretty slow process. I'm at like 5,083 or something like that, and you have to get to 6,000. So the trek is still moving.
Nice. Well,
Yeah,
just gotta
and
do the update, you know.
yeah, it's still a lot of fun. I'm not. I kind of figured I would get kind of bored or sour with it, but it's kind of fun challenging myself, because as much as I've played it, I'm still seeing new things like on the dailies. Like sometimes you'll go through the extremes and you're like, whoa, okay, I've never seen this. Or they'll throw them in different combinations where it adds extra challenge and makes it different kind of fun. So I like how varied it is.
Cool. Well, I also have been playing. I played through and beat Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I had bought this game with a bunch of games and then forgot I had it, and
It's a problem we all have.
and so I was just reinstalling a bunch of fighting games on my PS4, and I was like, I installed that, and I started it up, and I was like, what? I think I played this. Have I played this? And I started playing
Yeah.
it, and I just got sucked into it. So I played through a couple times of the arcade story mode, and then I was playing the hero or villain mode, which you pick a hero, and then you just kind of...
Her versus Harold, right?
Oh, yeah, that's what it's called. And I just did that for a while, and that's really super fun. And, you know, I love... it's funny. There's some characters I don't usually play as, because I usually just play as chicks, as Jarrod knows. But there's some like
Me
great
too.
like Ghost Rider's fucking bomb. I really find he's a lot of fun to play. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, generally I always have Wolverine, but having X-23 is pretty good. I like and Phoenix is really powerful. She's pretty badass. But anyway, I don't know what it is though. I prefer to play the Marvel characters versus the Capcom characters generally. I guess that's just the comic book nerd inside.
Well, yeah. I mean, how often can you just jump in and play as a Marvel character? You know, that kind of game doesn't really come around too often where you're fighting Marvel characters. You know, not anymore.
Yeah.
It's a super solid game. I'm glad I finally realized that I had it and played it. so that was fun. I'll probably keep playing it. It's really good. I have, I'm in the middle of my Herald, whatever it's called, mode.
Reverse there.
Yes. And then, so I played that. I also played something I forgot. I played Outriders. So I had played the beta to a certain point, and then it's on Game Pass, and I was like, well, I'll restart this up. It looks so much better. I played the beta on my PS4. No, I played it on my PS5. Yeah, it was on PS5. But it looks I mean, obviously it probably looks good on my PS5 if I have the version that was not the beta. But my PC version looks way better than that beta did. But it's a fun game. I mean, I probably won't go too far in it just because I feel like I need to play with people, and I don't want to play with random people. So
Yeah, it's been like $20 at Fred Meyer
Oh,
recently,
is
I
it
think,
that
for
low?
all editions
yeah,
or
it's
something
pretty
like
it's
that.
pretty
So
cheap.
Wow.
I think
yeah,
it
they're
was
they're kind of trying to blow it out, I think.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Because I
but
remember that being like a huge thing, and then just like,
and it
wow.
just had like a
Yeah.
DLC drop or something too, I think. So, so I was playing that a little bit. I don't know how long I'll stick with that though. But, I mean, it's a cool game. I don't know. It's you need a fire team, or you don't get you need to play higher, the more difficult it gets. Like you play different tier, like the world is set at a certain tier, but if you bump it up like 2 or 3 tiers, it gets really hard. But then you really need a team with you to get better
Yeah.
gear. So I just get pretty plain silly, just get pretty basic ass gear. So I don't know. So I might play. See, I don't know. I might play through the story. We'll see. That's we'll see.
Are you gonna download the Godfall Challenger Edition? Those came out around the same time.
Man, that's a weird fucking thing, right?
Godfall.
No,
What
Yeah.
just
Oh yeah. A
the
lot of
is
people are
that?
pissed off. Yeah.
just the
What
the
even is that?
it's a mode to get people to play the game. Basically, it's part of the end game, and you
Okay.
get to automatically get full
Max level.
max
Yeah.
level, and you can create a new character with max level with different perks, and then you can just play the end game. And there's supposed to be some new gear and stuff, and I think it's supposed to bait people for then
Into buying the full game?
the full game or
Yeah.
then the eventual DLC that's coming out for the game, because obviously no one bought. Some people say it's kind of fun, other people say the game is fucking awful.
It
So
sounds like it looks good.
This is sounding like Monster Hunter comes out with an edition that just puts you into the end game of the base game, and then it's just like, hey, you should buy the next edition that's coming out. It's just that
Yeah.
sounds like a really weird thing to do.
anyway, it's
It's
gonna
a-
be
a lure.
obviously it's free on PlayStation Plus this month, and then it's also free on Epic Games Store, so
Mm.
you can get it on PC too.
Yeah,
Um,
that started today on Tuesday. Yeah.
So you want to jump in and check that shit out? I'll probably check it out, but I don't know. It sounds like just a really grindy game.
Yeah, I'm downloading it now. Just
What's the
why not?
point in
Yeah.
grinding something you can't really level up in?
I just want to see what it looks like. Like,
Mm.
Yeah,
it's a morbid curiosity, I think.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that Outriders, and then what else I was playing? I'm playing a lot, trying to get through Art of Rally. So I think I'm about halfway through that game.
Okay.
I really dig that little car game. It's super fun. It's super
Yeah,
cool.
You've been streaming that a lot.
I've streamed it a couple times. It's just it's a fun chill game to race, and I don't know. I'm not. I feel like I'm the only one who really digs it. That's fine.
It looks like a fun game.
Then I was like, I want to reinstall Gran Turismo. So I reinstalled Gran Turismo, and I started racing that. And I'm not close to beating the. I think I'm like a little over halfway beating the campaign. So I was kind of gave myself a little personal goal to beat the campaign before 7 drops. Whether I actually stick to that, we'll see. But I was racing quite a bit yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. And took some photos because it has its own little Facebook type integration where you have like all these people that follow you and they see your photos when you put them out there, and then they like and follow and they comment on them. It's this weird little Gran Turismo social media that's very positive and nice. Everyone's always liking it and saying things. So I take my photos and I don't know, it's cool.
Yeah, that's fun. And you love the soundtrack. I know that's like you,
I mean,
you shared that.
of Art of
But,
Rally, yes. I love the soundtrack of Art
yeah,
of Rally.
Art of
Gran
Rally.
Turismo's soundtrack is not their best soundtrack this time around. I mean, the music's fine, but
Yeah.
but I don't know. I love Gran Turismo. I think I'm really just excited for 7, so I'm just kind of waiting. But I mean, Gran
So
Turismo
you're-
Sport looks ridiculous anyway. So
Are you gonna burn yourself out on Gran Turismo by playing Sport? I mean, that's a lot of the same tracks that they're gonna have again, right? They just
it's always the
they
same
recycle
tracks.
all the Gran Turismo tracks.
Jarrod, I have every fucking Gran Turismo game on the face of the planet.
I
It's
know.
impossible. I can't get burnt out of Gran Turismo.
Okay.
Not only that, but it's a game that is going to last the entire console generation, so I can like stop, get out of it, come back to it. It's always there for me. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Gran Turismo Sport right now I think is only like $10 or something, maybe cheaper than that. It's like it's such a good game. I don't know why I got shafted, but
I watched the newest trailer of Gran Turismo 7. My daughter's like, I want to play that game.
I mean, there's no violence. It's pretty.
I mean, maybe I should get the Gran Turismo Sport because I mean,
It's crazy. Like the photos, like you take these photos and it looks like it's a real car. It doesn't even. I mean, it's those graphics. I mean, I look at Forza Horizon. It still looks kind of fake.
yeah,
Looks gamey.
It looks gamey. Gran
I feel
Turismo, like you play if you play Gran Turismo, when you play in the game, it can still look kind of gamey. But when you put it like in replay mode or do photos, it's like, oh shit, is that real? It's weird.
I feel like personally for me with like Horizon, it like the cars look like they're in a real world, but like the world.
Oh yeah. I can.
Looks gamey.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. I don't know if it's the colors or if it's just like how things react to the world in which you're doing.
Well, I think the game also itself is a little more oversaturated because even the cars are a little more. And I think that's part of the fun aspect of the game, so it's like makes it inviting.
It doesn't feel like that in motorsport.
Right. Oh, 100%. I think that's just part of the arcadiness of it. And I think, is that everything I'm sure there's something I was forgetting. No, I think that's it. That's what I've been playing.
So I saw some news that you probably liked today about day one Game Pass for Serious Sam, right?
Oh.
Isn't that Serious Sam 4 that's coming day and date
That's not me
to
though.
Game Pass?
Is it?
Oh, that's not. I don't know if it's a PC one.
Oh, I don't know.
It might just be the Xbox
Justin was the Serious Sam guy. I
Oh,
think.
I thought didn't you play? Oh, you played the other one. What was?
Oh, Samurai.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean that game's not out yet. It got delayed. Oh yes.
What is
what
that?
the fuck?
I don't know.
Game. Ninja Samurai. What is that, dude? Who wants some wang?
Yeah.
Shadow Warrior.
Shadow Warrior. Thank you.
Okay.
Jesus. Oh man, Shadow Warrior is fucking bomb, dude.
The new one?
Well, I haven't played the new one yet. Number 1 is fine. 2 is fucking great. I mean, that game is actually really strong. So I'm super excited for Shadow Warrior 3. It got delayed. They're trying to polish it more. So that's fine with me. I mean, the fact that they're like slowly becoming this better and better thing. Those games are always fucking hella cheap.
Yeah, I think I just got them crossed because they're both kind of goofy.
No, I mean Shadow Warrior is on another level. Serious Sam is a garbage game. I mean, it is garbage. I mean,
It's like a wave shooter, pretty much. It's
a wave shooter that looks like you're looking at the game through a fucking wave. I mean, it is just a shitty looking game. I mean, serious. I don't know how you. There's got to be a demo somewhere. There's got to be. You should try.
Oh, it's gonna be on Game Pass. You should try the new one.
No, it's just I know what it's gonna be. It's garbage. Like Shadow Warrior looks like a good game.
Maybe it'll blow your mind.
No, it won't.
The Serious Games have always been budget titles, and they feel like budget titles.
Yeah, that's the thing that's cool about Shadow Warrior. It's like it's a kind of a budget title, but it doesn't feel like a budget. Well, maybe that first one does, but the second one was like this open world, like quest driven kind of, and you could play it co-op, and there's like a lot more going on to it. And so Shadow Warrior 3 looks like it's fucking crazy Shadow Warrior Doom level game. So
yeah, when I see Serious Sam like just still images and stuff, it makes me think of Duke Nukem 3D. Like that.
Pretty much. Well, I mean that's the original Shadow Warrior was a Duke Nukem clone.
Yeah.
But that's that old style, you know.
Yeah, 90s shooters kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny.
No.
Oh yeah. No.
Serious Sam, like there's like I don't even know what to say, man. I mean, I played not this newest obviously, but I played the last one for
the third one.
Yeah, the third one, and it's just like
the third one's not good. It's not good. The first 2 are good. I think the first 2 are good, but they're good for budget titles.
Like I was just like, what is this garbage? Anyway, not a game I adore. Not like Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Talking about like old things and coming back. I started it up today because they added an update to it. But Blazblue Central Fiction and Blazblue Cross Tag Battle are getting netcode updates.
Oh, okay.
That have rollback netcode, which will heavily increase like how you actually play the game, so they're no longer delayed and things won't feel slow and sluggish.
Are they using fan-generated ones from PC community?
They so Arc System Works has been going back to a lot of their older fighting games like Guilty Gear X and Core Plus R, which originally had a fan-made patch, but they hired those people
Yeah.
for this
Okay.
patch for it. And they took some of those people for Guilty Gear Strive, if I remember correctly. And they did the netcode for that game, and now they're going back to Central and Cross Tag. They're doing those together with new netcode. And that beta just started yesterday.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm going to be playing some of that tonight, probably. Finish downloading. And I have high hopes because I love that game.
Cool. I only played. I don't know, Jarrod, didn't you have a Blazblue game back on PS3
Yeah,
or
I
some
had.
shit?
It was an Xbox 360 game. I think it was one of the first BlazBlue games. I really enjoyed that. It was such a cool style, and I liked the characters and kind of the weird little story arc. I actually played through it with each character, and I never do that with fighting games. Not since the original Street Fighter 2.
I think the cross tag one and one of the ones before it.
Central Fiction.
I think they're on PlayStation now. I think I can play those.
They probably are because they're both on PS4. So you could probably play through those if they're on there. But the netcode update is going to PS4 for cross tag, but it's not going for Central Fiction. Central Fiction's netcode update is for PC only, and then PS4 will get cross tags.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's a lot of work to implement netcode or something like that. I don't know. I guess that's a lot of programming to deal with that. And who knows?
You're almost rebuilding the game from scratch to just to like do something like this. So I'm really surprised that they're going back to and doing that.
Gotta really dive in there.
Any other games you guys would like to talk about, gentlemen?
I did recently try to play my NES collection, but the box that I have to play my NES games doesn't work anymore. And I put it close up and blew on it, and see if there was any dust. I used the air can, make sure, but then
you gotta blow. You can't actually. The air can doesn't work. You need the moisture.
I felt that there might be a different issue, so I put my nose up to it, and it smelled like electrical burning.
Oh, good.
So I think it just fritzed out. It's like a cheap Chinese knockoff kind of one.
Oh, it's not an OG one.
No, I don't have a NES. I used to once upon a time, but I don't know what happened to that. I got rid of it probably. Jeez. But I'm probably in the market for a new NES box because I have a bunch of games and I'd like to play them.
I thought you got rid of all that shit.
I have my NES stuff. I think I sold it to Josh, my brother, and he sold it back to me for the same amount. So I'm just like, okay, I'm tired of holding on to this shit. Can you have it back?
That's funny.
Yeah, so I have all that stuff.
Okay. So you just get another one of the cheap Chinese knockoff ones?
I might go for a better brand, one that's a little quicker, nicer looking. Because this was like this tiny, maybe 5-inch square box that's purple. And it looked pretty cheap.
You could probably just get an emulator and ROM it off your PC, buddy.
I mean, if you wanted something portable and emulating it off of, get a Raspberry Pi. And
I was thinking of that. Instead of wasting $50 or more on a NES box, I was thinking of getting a Retro Pi.
Spend the extra to get the
something like that. But actually, just like buying a Retro Pi with all that stuff installed is like $200 and some bucks.
Dave.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get a cheaper version and not have all the higher end stuff.
You could probably get a Raspberry Pi, and if you wanted someone like me to modify it and get you all that stuff on there, I probably could do that just for the price of the Raspberry Pi you buy yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I'm able to do a lot of that stuff. So I mean, I should just get a Raspberry Pi kit. Get a Raspberry Pi kit and just dink around with it,
Or just ask Dave to find you a Nintendo. He'll probably find you.
That's true.
Well, yeah, he goes to some Goodwills in Beaverton. I swear those people just get rid of stuff because they can. And it's like super expensive technology. Just like it's a gold mine out there.
You might want to go Goodwill hunting then.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, let's do some couch co-optionals. Who's got something cool that they'd like to talk about? that's not video game related?
Oh, jeez.
Quentin.
Me? Do you want me to go first?
I don't know. Do you have something?
Beer.
Jarrod.
Just beer in general.
Just
Yeah.
I'd like to
Just-
thank beer
I like to
Just
think
have
beer.
a beer. Yeah.
and couch co-optional.
Couch
For
co-
some interesting recommendations for beer and beer related activities.
Oh, the old couch co-op. Which one? Are you drinking right now?
I am.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking a porter.
What is it?
It is a Samuel Smith Old Brewery Tadcaster. Their famous The Taddy Porter.
Oh yeah, I want to try that. I like
Yeah,
the Samuel
one's
Smith
pretty
stuff.
good. Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have to go grab some of that.
Yeah, it's pretty good so far.
Okay, awesome.
Goes down well, and it's got a nice taste. I enjoy it.
Yeah, most of those Samuel Smith beers are pretty smooth, easygoing, but they have a lot of alcohol in them.
They do.
Yeah,
They do. I
yeah.
can already feel it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah, I need to do some Sam Smith shopping.
How about you, Jarrod? What do you got?
I like the new Hawkeye series.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I don't think
That's
I've
fun.
heard you talk about that. Well, yeah, you kind of mentioned it last week, I think,
Maybe. I don't know.
but I wasn't there. But yeah, every Wednesday the episodes come out. So tomorrow the latest one comes out. I'm excited to see what happens. The other series, I think I mentioned it once, but The Wheel of Time is on Amazon Prime. I'm still watching that. That comes out on Fridays. So I'm enjoying that so far. That's been really good.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. TV. Oh, and there's a series I haven't gotten to watch yet. On Netflix, I want to watch the newer episodes of He-Man because the first chapter of He-Man on Netflix was really, really awesome. And now the second part's out. So I really need to dive on that.
All right. Cool. What did I talk about last week?
I think you mentioned Nighthawk
Oh,
or Hawkeye. Yeah, Hawkeye and the Hulu Marvel show.
Oh.
Yeah, that monkey show.
Oh, Hit Monkey, dude. I just finished that up, dude. It's so fucking good, man. It's so violent and it's so hilarious.
Maybe I'll check out
It's
sometime.
totally being forgotten because it's the old Marvel
Old
group.
deal.
But
Nobody talks about Hulu.
but
Yeah, that's
but it's fucking awesome. I don't know if I have really anything. That's. I mean, I talked about the Beatles thing. Oh, you know what I will say? I watched this. I would check it out just because it's interesting. But HBO again had. They're doing these music documentaries. They did Jagged, which was Jagged Little Pill. They did DMX. The newest one is about Kenny G. Now, I obviously know nothing and do not care for Kenny G, but I found it the most
Obviously.
interesting of all of them so far because he's an interesting character and the music is like it's so weird that it became this mass. Like he's sold like 75 million albums. It's like mind blowing how popular he is. I mean, he created a whole genre of radio, you know, smooth jazz. It's just like there's a whole bunch of information I didn't know anything about. So I found it totally fascinating. If you love music and music documentaries, I think it's an interesting. I don't think these documentaries aren't that great overall, but I found this one to be the most interesting because I knew nothing about this guy. So I'll recommend that one. Yeah, and yeah, I'm not gonna. I think that's all I have. I think I had something I wanted to talk about, and it's totally escaping my brain right now. So maybe next time I will remember. All right, let's get out of here. Let's see here. Let me find my notes. Where's my notes?
There, right there.
There they are.
You know, tap there. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little lower.
All right. I want to thank you all for listening and remind you that you can leave feedback on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Couch Co-op Shows. All one word, no hyphen. Remember to please subscribe, share, maybe leave us an iTunes review. That supposedly helps us. I want to thank you all for joining me here on the couch. I want to thank Quentin and Jarrod for also joining me here on the couch.
Yeah, of course.
Anytime.
For Couch Co-op, I'm Ian, reminding you to please be excellent to each
excellent.
other. Oh, let me play the outro.
Couch Co-op. co-op.